It's a Sebon Podcast Show. It's a Sebon Podcast Show. Everybody's welcome. Peace and love. It's a Sebon Podcast Show. Bam.
Bam, we're live. Good morning. Augustus, what's up? Good morning, Slater. Good morning. I feel like I'm supposed to say that. Okay, well, then you've done the right thing. You run with your feelings. You've let your feelings take over. Keeping it real, I watched your podcast yesterday with Jack Rozema. Thank you for doing all the legwork. Does anyone know if I can download YouTube episode before flight? I got like 15 minutes left on the Hill or Vegas dock. Oh, I haven't watched that yet. You know what? I have to drive over the hill today into Silicon Valley. Take the boys to skateboarding. Maybe I'll put that on. Heidi Kroom, good morning. Good morning, Matt Burns. Stephen Flores, Mike Sauer. Good morning. Coach Ken, good morning. I'm getting a little anxious about my access at the CrossFit Games. I was trying to picture how Friday's going to look. Friday's the free event at night. And I want to be able to, I was just trying to, I don't know why I fall into these details and stuff, but I do. Like, how am I going to get in the car with Dave to drive there and then make sure he doesn't leave with me so I can get back to my hotel? And I keep thinking, like, what wristband am I going to have? Because every morning I like to get in the car with Dave and go to the games. And then usually they drive around to the back and then you have to go past all the security checkpoints on foot, and then you go down into the bellows of wherever the staff are. And I'm just like, if I stay close enough to him, I'm sure I'll get past them all. But he doesn't look after me. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm he's never like, let that guy in or anything. If I ever get caught anywhere, he's just on a mission. He's not like there to. And there's this lady he works very closely with, the owner of CrossFit Roots, Nicole Christensen, and hopefully she's there because usually she'll take care of me a little bit in case I get snagged somewhere. She'll at least look at the security. She'll give like one of these head nod. Why do I keep getting ads for Kamala asking for money? Well, because that's how prostitutes make a living. I hope they don't treat you like shit. They won't treat me like shit. I just might not get treated at all. I might be like, hey, go stand on that side of the ropes. I might be, I don't know. Maybe not your mic. My headphones might be shit now. Yesterday, someone was saying something was wrong with my sound. Anytime something's wrong with my sound, feel free to tell me. I like to see you guys debate it in the comments too. You know what I mean? I like to see you debate it. I guess she's not I guess she was never the border czar. I was tripping yesterday because she's never. Oh, did I send Jack Rozema a link? Oh, yesterday I saw that she's never met with the head of Border Patrol. She's never met with the head of Border Patrol. I was tripping on that. What a mess. What a mess. I want to ask Jack what it's like being in the U.S. military, knowing that your commander-in-chief is a douche. What made me, I started looking up the border stuff yesterday because I saw on Dave's Instagram that Dave was at the border. Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going, man? Sorry about the delay. I really am sorry about that. But
hey, I love the fact kids are training. Those are always acceptable. My ego just barely enough room to let someone push me off. Just like I got a little opening for kids and training.
That's good. So I'm 2 for 2 there on this weekend. So that's good.
Hey, is it hot as shit in the car?
No, I got the air on. It's good.
Okay.
I'm good. It's really not bad. It's early here still, so it's only like 70 out. Yeah.
You first popped on my radar because I remember seeing you at Crash Crucible.
Yeah, this past fall.
Yeah, and anyone I don't know, like at competitions, I just always think of them as kind of like an accoutrement or like garnish. You know what I mean? Like they're just there to make the guys I like look good.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like the guys on the sidelines at the NFL standing around with their helmets on, like they're just like there for ambiance.
Yeah.
To make it look like it's a real sport. But you crushed it there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good competition. It was like the events were fun, I thought, and they kind of played to my strengths a little bit. So I knew that I could go there and compete. So it was fun. It was fun to do it with those guys.
Hey, what's the deal with Crash? Where would you is Crash like Bellator?
Like what do you mean?
If the games or the UFC, I mean, look at the dudes who came out of there this year. You and Austin Hatfield, and then of course, you had Colton there, but you and Austin there, and then both of you guys showing up and just kicking ass at the semifinals.
Yeah, I think it was just good timing, like for both of us getting better in the sport. That's just kind of where it fell this year. We both went there and executed well, and I think it's just one of those. Yeah, I think it's similar to Bellator. Like if you aren't maybe quite good enough to really be competing at the top of the game in the UFC, you do Bellator. So it's kind of one of those things. Like I'm undecided if I'll do Crash this year because it'll just kind of depend on how the games and the following weeks go after that. But it's like at that time it was just a good event for us to do to kind of test ourselves at that level because we weren't doing anything else at the time. So yeah,
it's because I was thinking, I was like, it is kind of the ultimate test, like to find out whether you got it. Because if you can't be in top 5 at Crucible, then you probably should go back to the drawing board. But if you win Crucible, you're going to the games.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good measuring stick for sure. It's like a small, just see where you're at in these areas and how you can compete against the best in certain events. Yeah, for sure. So
I wonder if there are any other events like that. Or if that's the one, if that's like the pinnacle of like the B team.
It seems like it is because, like, I mean, how many years in a row now has like the top 1 or top 2 been a rookie at the games the following year? It kind of just seems like the pipeline for that.
And then there's always going to be people there like a Colton who are coming there for a cash grab.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So you can test yourself out against someone like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you would be that guy if you went there. I would be saying, "Oh, Jack's here just for a cash grab."
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like I think it's, I mean, that's fair. Like that's why it's like I'm kind of on, like, that's why I'm just totally undecided about. It'll just have to be a good timing in the off season. It'll just have to feel right at the time to do. And if I don't have, if I'm not preparing for Rogue or if I'm not still kind of hurting from the games leading up to it, it'll kind of be just a game time decision to do.
And hey, Jack, Colton and Taylor, and I think I heard Tudor Magda are all going to NorCal, and I think they may have 30 grand.
Really? For first, huh? That's
for
good.
First, I think. Yeah, I'm going to that. I already got an Airbnb there. That'll be my first competition I bring my kids to. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, that's legit. 30 grand. They must have some good sponsors to that or something. Like,
hey, dude,
I don't know how a comp like that would have that much.
And it's a great spot too. It's a great spot too. It's at a. It's just your typical. I don't know about where you live, but in California, there's we have reservoirs, and it's just a typical like reservoir setting. I don't know if the actual lake they swim in is a reservoir, but it's just this spot with trees and dirt and parking lots, and right next to this really nice body of water. And it's like a crazy it's like it's for sure a place you bring your kids. You know what I mean? It's like it feels like you're at like some sort of country fair or something.
What city is that in California?
Sacramento. It's like 90 miles east of San Francisco. So it's inland. It's our state capital. I mean, it's a shithole, but it's not like a traditional shithole.
like LA or those suburbs around that area.
Oh, you're breaking up so bad, dude. You froze. What are you doing? You driving home?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? I am driving now because I'm actually about to because we got another session today, so I'm about to try to drive back to where I'm staying right now. If that's all right. If I'm breaking up too bad, I can stop.
Okay, well, I'll ask you hard.
It might you're going to be until I get out of this area.
If you're gonna be a dick to me, I'll be a dick to you. So you ready? Is it
Hey,
weird?
go for it. I'm not trying to be a dick.
Is it weird? Me neither. I'm not trying to be a dick either. This is just what I want to talk about. Hey, is it weird?
Yeah.
You're the commander in chief of the U.S. Armed Services is Joe Biden, right? He's your boss.
He is currently, yeah.
Yeah. Is that weird that your boss is incapacitated?
Honestly, like I think that's the cool part about being in the military is it's not you don't swear an oath to the president. You're not sworn to whoever is currently in power. You swear an oath to the support and defend the Constitution of the United States. So leaders come and go, philosophies come and go, and I think everybody down at the line level and at the mission level and all these units, they're focused on their mission and what they're doing, and honestly, like the politics going on behind the scenes. In Washington and stuff like that, they don't really affect the day-to-day that much. So I think if you're a good soldier and you're mission oriented and you're team oriented and you're more worried about taking care of the guys on the left and the right of you, than who is in power, the current state of the political landscape. I mean, it's honestly it's not weird for me because I didn't join because of one candidate or one party or anything like that. I think if you have the right headspace, it shouldn't really matter too much.
Okay. Very great, good answer, Jack Rozema. So far, A+. The thing is he is the commander in chief, and then the guy who's second in charge. I would go on a limb, and it's not a big limb, and I would say the guy who's second in command, the Lloyd Benson guy, has some sort of metabolic derangement. Like something's clearly wrong with him. He's obese. His eyes are all fucking weird. He speaks funny, and then the commander in chief is like going through decrepitude. That doesn't like affect morale of the guys. And we're frozen. Son of a bitch. Did you hear any of that?
I can hear you.
Oh, does that affect?
You were talking about. You were talking. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. You were saying, does that affect morale as well?
Yeah, because both guys at the top, the both guys, even the I don't know who he is, the Secretary of Defense, something seems wrong with him too. Like he doesn't seem like a capable man. Like, and by capable meaning, like I don't think he could hold a job at McDonald's or be a doorman at a hotel, or he couldn't have a paper route. You know what I mean? The Lloyd Benson guy, there's something wrong with him. He's going through like some sort of metabolic derangement. We know that because we hang out with people who have crazy acuity, right? We're with people who when we work out, you see a fly in the room and you're a CrossFitter and you fucking see it. We're all sharp as tacks. We're fucking alert. And then you have these two guys who are at the top who don't seem capable. They don't seem capable men. They seem like they're in the decrepitude. No one. If I found out you died tomorrow, I would be shocked. If I find out Lloyd Benson or the president of the United States, Joe Biden, were to die tomorrow.
Lloyd Austin.
Yeah, him. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just.
No problem.
It seems I just would think that morale would be tough, but when both the guys at the top are not. They're not representing. I don't know. There's over 1 million guys in the U.S. military, right?
Yeah, I think that's about right. And I think my answer doesn't really change. I mean, like the SecDef, whoever is currently in that seat. I mean, I can't speak for everyone. Like, I think it definitely might affect morale in some units more than others, and you'll have guys and girls that are more opinionated than others. And I think it's just you gotta roll with the punches as best you can, and again focus on what's in front of you. And I think that's just also important for why we have to be conscious of what's going on and be willing to go out and vote for what and who we think should be in these elected positions, which then affects the appointed positions. So I think it's just you gotta believe in what you believe in and stand for what you believe in and do what you think is right in your daily life. So I think like But again, those positions, you can only control what you can control. So whoever's in those positions shouldn't really affect your day-to-day too much if you're in a position like mine. So that's really kind of all I have to say on that.
Well, I'm glad there's people like you in positions who have that kind of good attitude. David Weed, what's that have to do with going to the games? Oh, you're going to the games, Jack? I didn't know that.
I
No
am,
shit.
yeah, first year.
Congratulations. That's crazy. We'll get
Thanks.
to that maybe. We have a long time. It's a long ride home, 45 minutes.
I'll be stopping here soon as I get to a gas station.
Hey, when I watched your podcast with Keeping It Real and with Scott Schweitzer, you seem very knowledgeable about the Bible. Like maybe you've read it once or 15 times. You quote it and stuff. Is it also like that with the Constitution?
Probably not as knowledgeable about the Constitution. I don't read the Constitution as much as I should, as much as I read my Bible. But why do you ask? I probably couldn't recite much of the Constitution.
I asked because you mentioned, Your Honor, the witness is getting hostile. I asked because you said that I liked what you said, that basically you're there, you swear an oath to the Constitution, and I think that, as I had no idea. How old are you? You're 28.
I'm 28. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 52, and I'm just like finally getting into the Constitution, and it's probably because I have kids. But I see, regardless of what my religious affiliation is or what I think that I'll give you an example. The other day, someone was saying, "Hey, the Republicans are really hating on in the press. They're really hating on the fact that the Republican National Convention, I guess the last prayer was a Hindu prayer." And these were my liberal friends saying that, hey, that's not cool that they're hating on it. And 20 years ago, I would have agreed. But now I do think it's cool because that's what our Constitution affords us. It's the freedom of religion. So they can be Hindu, you can be Christian, but it also affords us the fact that we can hate on it. I'm not worried. Those aren't the things I'm worried about, because the Constitution, that's our country. We stand for those things.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is someone burning down a mosque or a church. I'm not worried about someone hating one. The freedom of speech is covered, but the burning down of that shit ain't cool.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that we're on the same page with that thought process as well. Like, I'm all for that's what America is. You should be able to believe in and practice what you believe in, up to the point of being violent and hostile towards other groups as well. I absolutely, even though I'm a strong believing Christian, I think that people should be able to express their beliefs in whatever faith system that they have, that they believe in. So I think that we agree on that for sure.
Yeah, it covers all the bases. And when you don't know that stuff, it leads you to flawed thinking. You know what I mean? I guess you start dealing with your feelings, as opposed to the fact we have this great document called the Constitution that protects us, all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Why did you join the military?
I think I always just kind of grew up having this feeling that I wanted to serve. It's kind of hard to describe where it came from. Maybe it's just kind of the way I was raised, or the family that I was involved in. The way my parents raised me. My brother's a cop. My dad is a sheriff's deputy. Like, just kind of always had the desire to serve in the military, because I was always just inspired by stories and movies of the men and women that have sacrificed a lot for this country. And we only have the freedoms that we have because of people that were willing to step up and be brave and take risk and take chances in the face of danger for that. And so I don't take that lightly. Like, nowadays people say it in a way that it like sounds corny, or they take it for granted almost, so I just tried not to. And I try to just pass that torch on a little bit as much as I can. And I just enjoyed playing sports, and playing football at West Point was my initial goal for how to keep playing sports in college. And that ended up with me wrestling at Ohio State, just through a weird process. But that was also, I was always applying to and interested in one of the service academies to play sports at. And I knew that would result in me serving as well. So I just kind of always had a desire to do it. primarily based on the fact of what I just said. Just I've had tremendous respect and admiration for the people that have sacrificed and been selfless to put on the uniform in the face of danger and sacrifice and adversity willingly. And just the fact that we are one of the only countries, maybe the only country in the world that has a fully volunteer military. And it has worked for a very long time. So I just wanted to be a part of that.
How close were you to becoming a cop?
I never really wanted to be a cop. And I don't know. I wanted to do something in public service like that, but I just never really went down. I wasn't really close to being a cop. I never really pursued that path at all.
Anything else, firefighter or anything like that, or politician? Did you ever? No, you knew it was the military.
Not really. Yeah. I knew it was the military. I knew it was probably the Army. I just didn't know in what capacity. And so I figured I would just figure that out in college. I just knew I wanted to get my degree, meaning I would be an officer, and then once I got down that path or close to the end of that path, I would figure out exactly what I wanted to do.
Hey, the aspirations to go to West Point, did they go beyond that? Did you even have thoughts of playing professional football?
No.
I
mean, I knew I wasn't big enough or good enough to really play legitimate D1, like higher level D1 schools, and just the type of offense that they run at the service academies. That's what we ran in high school. So I could have played football. I could have played quarterback or running back in either one of those offensive schemes. So that's just kind of that's why I was trying to do that.
Hey, so you played quarterback all 4 years in high school?
Yeah.
How do you become quarterback your freshman year?
I mean, you go through camps leading up to you've been playing for the school. You've probably been playing for the school system, like in middle school, maybe the youth programs before that. And you just eventually go to, even though you might have separate freshman, sophomore, and varsity teams, you probably have similar camps and combined camps where you all practice together. And so all the quarterbacks would go in one group and do individual skills. All the receivers would go, all the running backs would go, all the linemen would go all together. And then you would just compete for a spot. So that's just kind of how we just did the process of determining who would play quarterback and who would be the first in the depth chart in all those positions.
So your freshman year in football starts even before school starts, right? Like a couple weeks before, or a month before?
Yeah. You're typically doing camps in like July, and then you'll have a couple of games usually in August before the first day of school.
So your freshman year, you show up, and there's like 60 kids who show up, and most of you guys either know each other, and you recognize the coaching staff or whatever from the scene. And do they actually say, hey, those of you who want to be quarterbacks, go stand over here. Those of you who want to be wide receivers, and they just and then you see the guys you're going to be going against?
That's my experience in Michigan. Yeah, it probably varies by like level of competition, like level of where you're playing in high school. That's probably different in like states like that are better, like Texas or Ohio or whatever. You probably start with that, and then if some kids like, hey, I really want to play this skill position, but they're not good at that skill position, and the coach is like, we need more linemen, we need more defensive players, whatever. Like, now you go over there, like, we're changing your position. So it's a little like give and take of the kids might have the freedom to choose, but they ultimately also might be told that they're doing something else if they want to play.
So on day one, you go there and you want to be quarterback. And how many guys do you go against? And did you start your freshman year?
I played on the JV team my freshman year, and then sophomore, junior, senior year, I think, if I'm remembering right, I was the varsity quarterback, which is not like uncommon in like in a state like a mediocre state like Michigan. So yeah, I honestly don't remember much. I just remember showing up to camps, doing drills. We didn't have a massive team. It was probably somewhere around there, like 60 to 80 kids for all 4 grades, like 9 through 12.
And what did you learn playing football? Did you cultivate leadership skills? Like, when I've got a chance to get closer to NFL quarterback in the last couple of years, and I cannot believe their leadership skills. It's something I never even thought of it, but it's nuts.
Yeah, you have to. I think you have to be there. Because as a quarterback, you basically have to not only know what you're doing, you have to know what every single other position is also doing. So you have to know where the linemen are shifting to block, the routes that the skill guys are going, or the men that they're trying to block, exactly which route and which path each running back is taking. So you have to know essentially the entire offense and every position of the offense, and so that you're able to correct others' mistakes, tell them where they're supposed to go, and then just mentally and like emotionally, you have to be the constant for the team. So if you can't let them get too high or too low, you have to kind of, pick them up when they're down and get them refocused if they're slacking off, stuff like that. That's just kind of you have to have that a little bit for you as the individual, and then you're kind of just you're given that responsibility as quarterback. Like that is your team to lead, and you need to step up to the plate to do it. So.
And I guess there's a service part there too, because you personally can't be enjoying those feelings. You have to be the baseline everywhere. So there's a selflessness and a service part there.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that sports in general, but just highly intense physical sports like that, they just you naturally develop those skills and those tendencies by playing the sport over many years, because you're put in those stressful positions and you have to just learn how to deal with them. So you just by default you develop those skills.
Do you remember the worst hit you ever took in high school football?
Honestly, not really. Like, there's probably not one that stands out too much. I've had a bunch of like little injuries here and there, but if you play football long enough, you're gonna get your bell rung a lot. Where I probably did have multiple undiagnosed concussions, because you just those hits where you get up and everything is ringing and your head hurts, and your head might hurt for the rest of the day or even some days after that, because you had like a head-on collision and stuff like that. But that's just something that happens. That's just something that everybody deals with if you play football at an intense level.
And the conditioning there, did you work hard? Like, if there were extra practice,
Yeah.
did you? Yeah. Did you always go the extra mile there? First one there, last one to leave, that kind of stuff? Like, did you stand out in your conditioning?
I mean, I definitely. It's hard to remember because this was, again, like over 10 years ago now. But like I would always try to get extra work in, be on time, have discipline. Again, like put in the work, not just on the field, but in the weight room, in the classroom. Probably could have done. We all look back and could have done better in those areas. I wish I would have maybe put in a little bit more extra work, like throwing extra routes before or after practice, doing the little stuff better in the weight room and little things like that. But that's just what if you want to be great, I mean, hopefully you have good teammates and good coaching staff that stress that early on, so that you can get those tendencies and those mindset strategies to do early on. And because it's tough, I've also seen it with kids that don't have a lot of direction and they have a lot of potential, but they just don't get that taught to them, that they have to treat every day as if it's like you got to milk every hour of every day to try to be the best, because that's what your competition's doing. So I tried to. Probably could have done better, but
By the way, I don't want to see anyone in the comments say anything that I pushed Jack too hard or anything. I haven't pushed him at all. You guys look at him. He's the most manly looking CrossFit athlete there is. He's a fucking attorney in the fucking U.S. military. We haven't even begun. I haven't even asked the hard questions yet. What are you guys talking about? Everyone sit the fuck down. Okay. He's a big,
about that.
Yeah, he's a big boy. This guy's a cactus. He can handle it all. Did you play any other sports in high school, Jack?
So other than, I did football, wrestling, and baseball.
Oh, you did wrestle. You did wrestle in high school.
Yep.
Why did you do that? What year did you do that?
So, I mean, I wrestled my whole life too. I probably started wrestling in like 3rd or 4th grade, I think. And then that's what I did at Ohio State too, was I wrestled at Ohio State.
Which is just fucking, that's a crazy story. Every time I hear it, I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Who put you in wrestling in 3rd grade?
My parent, like just my dad was a very successful high school wrestler, too. And I had cousins that wrestled. My brother wrestled a couple years before me. So it was just a family thing that we always did. And so I just started going to camps here and there and just getting involved in it. And then I just continued to do it through, middle school, high school, college.
I'm looking, Keeping It Real said that Tees and Tanks, that your shirt is now available in the Mayhem store.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if I can find it. Damn, they have a lot of shirts. I wonder how I would find that. Mayhem Nation. I go to men's tees and tanks, hoodies, long sleeves, short pants, collections, new releases, Kigs, Mayhem, collections. You mean the collections? New releases? Oh, they have a Hatfield shirt. Fuck that dude. I don't see a Jack Rozema shirt. Someone send me a link. Oh, there it is. Okay. I found it. Do they how does that work? How do you end up with a shirt?
I mean, they pretty much asked all of us. I think they asked everyone, like, hey, we're doing the jerseys, which they did, which just had like the Mayhem and then the number 24 on it, and then your last name somewhere on there, your name on there in general. And then they said we can also do just like a custom shirt, however you want to do it. And they have people that handle that design stuff. So if you're wanting to do a custom shirt, you just kind of give them ideas and thoughts of what you like, and then they just kind of take that and run with it. So I've worn their Faith shirt with the lion on it a few times. So I wore that during that snatch event at semis, and then so I was like, yeah, I think it'd be cool to do something similar to that. So I just kind of gave them some, and I think so. If you don't see someone on there, it's because they either were like, no, I don't want a custom shirt, like I just don't want to do it, or they have some other sponsors like obligations or anything like that. So yeah, that's how.
You start wrestling when you're 3. Do you actually go to tournaments when you're 3?
So I was in.
I mean,
didn't
sorry,
start when I was
3rd grade,
3.
not 3.
Yeah.
3rd grade, yeah.
You definitely can. I mean, there's wrestling. I didn't, but there's definitely, yeah, you can go to wrestling tournaments as young as like 3 or 4 years old.
When was your first tournament?
Probably when I was in middle school. I probably didn't go to an actual tournament until I was 5th, 6th grade, somewhere around there.
Is your brother older or younger?
He's 2.5 years older.
Okay, so you could wrestle a little bit with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
And do you remember your first wrestling tournament?
No, not at all.
No. Were you scared at tournaments?
I remember. Yeah, I remember. It definitely was a nerve-wracking sport for me. It's just hard to describe without doing it yourself. Like, it's just an individual sport that's physical, one-on-one with someone else that's the same age, same weight as you, and you're just trying to basically impose your will on an opponent like that. And so I hated losing so much, and it would just crush me. Like, when I lost, like, I would basically break down crying when I was in like 6th grade. It was probably embarrassing at the time, but I think because that's what I remember. My 6th grade year, I was like 0-4 or something because I wasn't very good, but I just hated losing. And so I think that's kind of what at the time drew me to continue doing the sport, is the physical nature of it. And I just hated the fact that another boy the same age and weight as me was kicking the crap out of me. And so I just kept doing it because part of me enjoyed it, and then I just hated losing at the time so bad that it's a different sport. It's a different feeling, really, than any other sport. It teaches you a lot more, in my opinion. It teaches you more in terms of just how to handle your emotions, how to be disciplined in your preparation, how to compete one-on-one against someone else standing across from you, and there's no other teammates, there's no pads, there's really no breaks other than when it's over, like stuff like that. It's an intense sport.
Yeah. My kids are so stressed playing at tournaments, fighting, as opposed to tennis tournaments.
Yeah. By fighting, you mean like jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, or even striking. They don't do striking. They don't do boxing tournaments, but they do a lot of sparring rounds.
Yeah.
But even that I can tell. But yeah, the jiu-jitsu tournaments are fucking gnarly. They look like their brows get all furrowed. They get all quiet. I see them looking around like attack is imminent at all times. They can't get settled.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And that's why I say at the time, that's what drove me to kind of keep doing the sports, because I hated losing and I was so stressed out about it. And I think that's what we as parents and coaches need to continue to do better at. And I think that's what the better parents and coaches do in the sport is they stress to their kids that it's more important to enjoy the process of the sport and have fun doing the sport, trying new positions, taking risks, and just leaving the match knowing that you did and everything that you possibly could, and you put the best version of yourself out there, and that's really what's important. Versus like, hey, I'm just trying to protect and do whatever I can to win by 1 point and just not lose. It's just a significant mindset change that I think the best kids do as a result of coaching and parent influence that I hope to do better at when I raise my girls and stuff like that. So
Wow, you nailed it, dude. That's what it is. One of my sons just goes out there, not to lose.
yeah,
And
I did that for years, forever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so interesting. You know how I've approached it, and like I don't know shit because I never played a sport in my life, but I always tell him it's something I got from Tony Blauer, the fight guy.
Mhm.
Hey, dude, you have to give yourself permission. You have to just let yourself go and just give yourself full permission just to annihilate this guy, to just bring yourself just completely here and give yourself permission to go full blast. But I don't know if it's I don't know if it's registering with him. But I've heard that like used in like, hey, if you're in danger, the first thing you have to do is like give yourself permission to fucking protect yourself at all costs.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's
What clicked
just,
for you? How did you make it over that hump when you
I
started
mean,
bringing it? You even see it in tennis. There's kids who bring the game to you,
yeah.
and then there's kids who are just defending shots.
Yeah, I think it's being honest with yourself. I think it starts with being honest with yourself and having coaches, parents, whoever, teammates to first of all just talk through that, be like, hey, what when the match starts, when the game starts, when you're down by X points, like what are you thinking about? What are you trying to work through? And being honest with yourself, being like, yeah, I was just trying to not lose in that match. I was scared of getting tired. I was doing this, doing that. And so I think it starts with being honest with yourself and where you're at. I think first of all, I think first of all, be honest with yourself. Second of all, did you prepare enough to give yourself confidence? Because I think straight up confidence just comes from preparation. If you haven't done the work and put in the work, to be good enough in shape, put enough reps in with the technique, whatever. If you don't have that stuff in the bank, then you can't perform even if you are in the right mindset. So I think that's number two. And I think just through experience and just testing yourself, putting yourself through the crucible of these events, just putting yourself in positions, taking risks, and then just seeing what happens. Because I just think it clicks for different people at different times. I think nowadays, I mean, there's so like American wrestling is so good. There's kids that just go out there on the national level or on the world, like cadet world teams, like junior Olympics, like, or they're 17, 18 years old qualifying for the Olympic teams, like, and they just go out there and they just want to score as many points as possible. And so I think that might be more specific to just wrestling, but just going out there and being like, I'm going to attack with everything I have and try to score as many points as possible, and just see what happens. And you just have, like you just said, give yourself permission mentally to take those risks, to do it to the best of your ability, and not have the fear of failure. Like you're gonna, like if you don't fail, you're not even really trying. So it's you just have to
Oh.
you just have to make that. I think you have to make that mental leap of win or lose. I'm gonna try to score as many points as possible. I'm not gonna walk away from this competition asking, what if I had given this? What if I had done this? What if I had prepared harder this? Like you just have to leave yourself no room to make those excuses after the fact.
Is this tell me the story about this match here. So one of the things you said is it's as a young man, it sucked getting beaten by people who were same age as you and same weight. Here you are, you're a 184 guy, and you get thrown into a match at a super high level with a 197 guy. When do you find out?
Yeah.
Does that piss you off? Are you up for the challenge? Does it help build in an excuse why you might lose? Like, does this
No,
suck? This
so
guy's a
that's
giant.
yeah. I mean, everything that you just said is what the former me probably did at that time, and what I think is the dangerous toxic mindset that I think a lot of young athletes struggle with is they immediately are looking for excuses for why it might not go their way, or hey, I'm the victim in this situation because of X, Y, and Z, instead of framing it as what a great opportunity to compete, to test myself, to see what I'm truly made of. And pressure is a privilege. Like that's what I've grown more to appreciate in the last few years, specifically since I've been in CrossFit, is like when you go out there and you feel a ton of pressure and you feel those nerves and you're super nervous and stuff like that. Like, I think feeling that is a privilege because not everyone has the opportunity to do that. I mean, just the fact that you are blessed that opportunity and you've put the work in to be there. You just have to look at it as like, man, I'm blessed to be in this situation. So in that particular match, I mean, that wasn't uncommon. Like, I was, for most of my career, I was the number one backup for 184 and 197. So basically what that means is I would travel, for example, like to Purdue, I would travel with the team and weigh in at 184, but full on knowing that for whatever reason, injury, game, like strategy, whatever other reason, something else comes up, I'm ready to go at both 184 and 197. So that's kind of how college wrestling works. Like, you can wrestle the weight you weighed in at, or you can bump up one above you.
God. So, and how long before you go out on the mat do you know that you're going? Do you get like a week or a day or?
No, usually like that. If it's a competition like that, you probably don't know until after weigh-ins, which is an hour before. So you probably don't know until roughly an hour before.
So it's not like a week before where you can let yourself get put on some weight. Like, you suck down to 184 and then they're like, hey, guess what? You get to fight a guy 13 pounds heavier than you.
Yep, exactly.
It's interesting you say that the pressure's a privilege. The only thing I can relate to is I realized at one point playing Frisbee that every bad pass is a chance for me to make an insane catch.
Yep.
And like, even if you think you have no chance, you have to go for it because 1 out of 10 times you catch it and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
How'd you do that? And you don't even know how you did it. But you know that you're committed to going after everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great.
So you basically get recruit. Did you wrestle your senior year?
In college, you mean?
No, high school.
High school? Yeah, I wrestled all 4 years. My senior year is kind of just where I really broke through. I mean, my freshman and sophomore year, I didn't even think I was like above 500 record. And then junior year, didn't even qualify for the state tournament in Michigan. I was close. I was like one match away. And then my senior year, I was just getting better in general at the sport. I mean, I was still going through like growth spurts. I mean, my senior year, I was still 16 years old. For like a couple
did you
months.
skip a grade? Did you skip a grade?
I never skipped a grade. I was just put in pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I was put in kindergarten when I was 4, like turning 5 in October. So I think just straight out from the start, I was always young for my grade. So I turned 17 early in my senior year. So I just think like that was a big part of it. I was still developing. I got bigger and stronger than a lot of kids. I was in pretty good shape. I mean, that's kind of where mentally I made a switch to. I think it was my senior year when wrestling season was kind of on the horizon. I would get up pretty early before school and just make the choice to like either run a bunch like 5 to 10 miles outside or go downstairs in the basement and just run on the treadmill for like 30-40 minutes because I knew that I could beat a lot of guys if I just was in better shape in the third period than them. So that's kind of how I got better at the sport in general. And so that's where I beat some better kids my senior year, which led to me getting recruited to Ohio State in the first place. So
the other day my 9-year-old did 100 burpees in 3 minutes and 52 seconds.
Nice.
And I was showing the video to his jiu-jitsu coach, and his jiu-jitsu coach looked at him and said, hey, if you know that you can go full speed for 4 minutes, that's a superpower in this sport.
Yeah.
Like, if you can just fucking let the wheels fall off the bus from the second you step on the mat to the second you step off, fuck, dude. Like, that's a problem for other people.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
you figured that out too. When you say, hey, if you can make it to the third period, those morning runs are going to pay off.
Yep, exactly. 100%.
And so you, as you told the story before, several times, you applied to West Point. You were a 4.0 student.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. And I didn't like the way you said if you just put a little effort in, because I put a lot of effort in and I wasn't even close. And then you don't get into West Point. Did you do the thing where you have to go like get a letter from your congressman and all that?
Yep. Yeah. basically just set up. I remember, yeah, you put in like a request for it. I don't remember exactly how I did it, but you just hit up your local like office for the congressman. Like mine was the U.S. rep. I don't even remember at the time what his name was for Michigan. And then you just do like an in-person interview, fill out a bunch of stuff, probably submit like a writing sample to them or something, and then they let you know shortly after that whether or not they're nominating you. So I did. I received a nomination from whoever the state rep was at the time. And then I think that was the last step. And then basically a few weeks later, right, my spring break senior year, I just got a letter in the mail that said I was not accepted. But that I'm receiving an ROTC scholarship for 3 years to basically anywhere that I wanted to go, like any accredited program, which is pretty much any undergraduate program that has an ROTC program.
Isn't it crazy? You lettered in wrestling and football. Your dad's a cop, and you got a 4.0, and that just wasn't enough. That's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, yeah. They don't really tell you why. I received feedback that like maybe my ACT score wasn't quite high enough. I think I got like a 28 on my ACT, and they were like, "Yeah, you kind of need like a 30 or above a 30," which is what we're looking for at the time, or whatever. I don't know, but I don't think it was wasn't meant to be. Wasn't the plan for my life. So
and then someone reached out to you and said, "Hey, do you want to wrestle at Ohio State?" And you're like,
Yep.
"Do you have an ROTC program?" They're like, "Yep." You're like, "I'm there."
Yeah, exactly. That's essentially what happened. Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 days later. My wrestling coach called me and was like, "Tom Ryan wants to know if you want to come on an official visit to Ohio State." So he's the wrestling coach there, and I was like, "What the heck?" at the time, because I had no intentions of doing anything other than football D1. Because I think I was a better football and baseball player than a wrestler.
You played baseball in high school too?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think that's what I played more growing up than football and wrestling was catcher. I probably played catcher since I was like five.
Another leadership position, right?
Yep.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, Tom had a very big impact on my life. He's an awesome guy, awesome coach. Huge man of faith. He has a crazy faith story. He wrote a book on a lot of his career at Ohio State, but that was his family story is in there a lot. And so he had a huge impact on my life in those formative years and a lot of my teammates as well. So
what's a crazy faith story? What does that mean?
So basically how he became a Christian. And this isn't, I can just say it because this is nothing that he hasn't said publicly. So he was a wrestling coach. He was a NCAA runner-up. Like he was wrestling in college. He wanted to be a national champion. Went to Iowa because they had just had a crazy team with the Bannock brothers and the I can't think of their name. Like the current coaches, like the Brands brothers, like Tom and Terry Brands were both there as well. So he wanted to go wrestle there. And then after that, he became a wrestling coach. I think he was at Hofstra at the time, which is in New York. And he had a family there. He had a 5-year-old son named Teague who had basically a heart attack, like at the dinner table. And he had no like pre-existing conditions. It was completely like out of the blue. He just kind of all of a sudden had like a cardiac arrest event. They called the ambulance and he just passed away. And they just didn't really know why. And they never really knew why. And so that just kind of, he just talks about how that event just obviously crushed him. And he just kind of searched for why something like that could happen. If God is real, why does he allow suffering like that, especially to kids? Basically where is Teague? Like just different things like that, that I think is not uncommon with a lot of people that are brought to kind of a crossroads of great suffering in their life. And they basically just have to come to that decision are we pointless clumps of cells, matter floating in space because we are just those by chance over millions and millions of years? Or is there an intelligent creator who loves us, who created us in his image, and his will exists for us, and he wants a relationship with us? And sometimes things like that just happen. And so I just think that's what I'm talking about. He goes through that process, and he's talked about it a lot, wrote it in his book, talked a lot with me personally on it when I was struggling with a lot of things. So yeah, I think that he just probably, other than my parents, and probably common with a lot of people, is just those coaches in those formative years can have a huge impact on your life and your belief system.
I like what you said. And where is Teague now? Because that's I at least once a day I'm like,
For
where
sure.
did I come from, and where am I going?
Yeah.
And I always think that that's
We
like the
all have
basic.
passed that. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's basically the premise of this podcast at all times. Like I feel like all questions eventually, if you ask enough questions, should lead to that. Oh, so how old are you?
Exactly.
What sign are you? Oh, where were you before you were in your mom's stomach?
Yeah.
I mean
Exactly.
I feel like if you're going down the right path, everything should lead there. When you had your first daughter, did you think of Tom Ryan? Were you like, did that like like he tells you a story and then you have a kid and then his story completely changes because now you have a whole nother perspective on it and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm vulnerable as fuck now.
Yeah, dude,
Because if
having
my
kids.
kid dies, I'm fucked.
Yeah. Having kids is huge. I mean, everyone will say that. No one's fully prepared for like the mental, emotional, just impact it's going to have on you. It's literally your heart outside of your body.
Yeah, you're so vulnerable
So,
now. Like his kid died and his whole shit got turned upside down, even though nothing happened to him.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that I've definitely just had a more profound just slap in the face of like, hey, you now have this greater responsibility than you've ever had in your life of caring for this human that's literally your heart outside your body. And like yeah, exactly, you're in this vulnerable position where you want the best for them, you want to take care of them, you want to see them succeed and flourish, but ultimately it's their life and stuff can happen to them. They can make decisions as they get older, but all you have to do is just all you can do is do your best. Have faith, ask for God's guidance and how he wants you to raise them and be an example for them the best that you can. Um, and so, yeah, I think about that all the time with my kids. Is like, what would I do in these situations? Like when I see other kids or hear about kids in other countries kind of suffering, and I think why me? Why am I blessed with these kids in this situation? What would I do if something happened to them that I couldn't control? If they were diagnosed with something, what would I do? How would I handle it mentally? How can I prepare for that now so that I can handle that if and when it does come? Um, all those things I struggle with and just are thrust upon you with being a parent. It's one of the most obviously the difficult things you can do, but also just so fulfilling, so rewarding, just fully cathartic, like in every way. So it's insane.
Just I want to throw a little just caveat out there. Um, for people like me who aren't believers and who aren't religious and who don't believe in God, we can still ask God for help, which is the trip. Like
Yeah,
I still, even though I don't
sure.
believe in God, I still ask God for direction in my life, and I get it.
Okay. So why would you say that you don't believe in him? Why would you ask for guidance from someone that you don't believe in? Because I'm just saying, I think to me,
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that,
Yeah.
but I don't believe in God. Certainly, but I definitely communicate, or I definitely have at least one way communication. You know what, Jack? Mine is more like I ask myself questions, and sometimes and I'll ask them just to anything that's out there that's listening, and then I'll pay attention in the world. Because I feel like once maybe it's what someone told me the other day. You know why you don't believe in God? And I said, why? They said, because you think you are God. And so when I ask those questions, then I just think that I can just look around in the world and it kind of refocuses me to find those answers. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it is like a self-centeredness, but I'll be like, hey, I need to make a decision on this. Or maybe I don't know. I just don't ever think I don't think I should fake being a Christian until like I get like a true calling.
I agree with that for sure. That's just part of growing as a Christian too. You're never going to have it all figured out. You're never going to be perfect. We are imperfect human beings on this earth. So, I think, but true. I don't think that you should necessarily fake being a Christian. I think that we all have to make that decision at a certain time in our life of like, hey, I do believe I am publicly like fully devoting myself to believing in God and that Jesus is the Son of God, and I'm going to make him the Lord of my life and follow him and what is written in the Bible.
Once again, I want to do that too, but I don't believe in God. Like, I love Christian values. Like you should honor your parents. You should not steal. You should turn the other cheek as much as you can. You should always put yourself like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be fighting over parking spaces at Kmart. I'm fucking able-bodied. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if there is a Kmart anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if I see trash and I see it, like, I just pick it up. I pick up I kick dog poop aside or pick it up. I don't want anyone to step in. I'm doing my part but it comes so naturally for me. I just don't want if I can help other people not suffer, fuck it.
Yeah.
Easy day.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm kind of like a convenientist. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, if I was a thief, I would only steal shit that would unlock bikes. I wouldn't steal locked bikes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm an opportunist. I'm an opportunist to express Christian values. But my life is better following Christian values. Way, 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 way better.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. For you, I mean, it's just a personal question. I think for you, what limits you in saying that, like, you don't believe that God is real or exists? Is it just kind of like scientifically you don't think it's possible, or that it makes sense with the world that we live in, or what?
I have a story in my head that every story keeps me away from God.
What, every story? Okay.
So like a story, like, so you have a story, you're Jack Rozema, you're going to the games, you need to hurry up with this podcast because you got some other shit to do and you need to eat, and you know your kid's in the house. You know what I mean? You have a story going on. It's like my kid goes out to the wrestling match and he has a story going on. Fuck, I'm scared. Fuck, how good is that kid? And so like in my religion is that I do better in the world when there's really not a story. And so I think I perceive that I have another story that I perceive people who have a story about God, they look distant from God to me because they have a story about God that's in between them and God. And so I don't want that story. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't want my belief. Like, I would never, I can't to say if something bad were to happen to you and you were to say, God, why did you do this to me? I feel like in God, I hope I'm not testing fate. I feel like I've transcended that. Like, my idea of the world is not that simple. You know, people are like, fuck, I'm scared to go to heaven. All 3 of my wives will be up there. I'm like, that's your vision of heaven? Like, fuck, dude, you're a snail.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you've limited your vision. And so I know a child dying is probably an immense amount of pain, but the little dabbling I do in thinking about heaven, it's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's unfathomable. It's not like, oh shit, my ex-girlfriend's gonna be there, and that one time I fucking hit her. You know what I mean? It's like,
I agree with
are
you.
you out of your fucking mind, dude?
Dude, I agree with what you're saying for sure right now. I think people can get caught up with too many of the in like unimportant specific details and get too in the weeds of like what is and what is not going to happen in heaven or beyond this life. I think for sure. I think that that's also one of the coolest parts about faith and believing in the God of the universe is that he is so omniscient, profound, beyond our understanding, and the peace that he gives us is beyond understanding as well.
Yeah.
So, and I think I think you're right. I think you're hitting the nail on the head with a lot of things. I think that you're just going through your faith journey. I mean, I think that those things that you're saying, the circumstances that happen in your life around you, I think that is 100% God working through, because God works through people. We're like the way that, and this brings it to the front of my mind because we talk about a lot in my men's small group. I mean, I think a good analogy is like God is the father working on this car engine. Like he's like the earth is his engine, like the car engine. And we as humans, we as Christians, followers of Jesus, are like the 5-year-old son that like he wants to come help work on the engine. he doesn't really need our help. Like, he can clearly do it himself, but through his goodness and his mercy, he allows us to work on the car engine with him. He knows that we're going to make mistakes, but as long as we remain faithful and keep turning back to him, he's going to continue to work good in our lives and allow us to keep working on that engine. So I'm just like, that's just an analogy. I think that what you're going through, I think it's totally cool. And I think it's, I just pray that people continue, that you still kind of get those seeds planted in your mind, that people continue to work in your life, and that you just absolutely, I think you should keep asking those questions, like believe, like, I just think it's cool.
I feel validated.
I'll be praying for you for sure.
Thank you. You know, the thing also is, it's, as a young man, I cheated on my girlfriend, and she read my text messages in my phone, or I don't even think we had phones then. I think she found a picture of me and the other girl like camping or something, and I felt relieved, and that's what I picture. It's like, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Now the burden's yours, but I feel fucking great. She's like, are you fucking crazy? I'm like, well, dude, I'm so tired of holding a secret in. I fucking hate a secret. And that sounds like the greatest thing about going to God. Just fucking, he just takes your fucking burdens.
Dude, that is.
He sees, like, the time you fucking put peanut butter in someone's gas tank and you're free from it, or the time you fucking shot a bird that was like, you shouldn't have shot that bird, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. I want to be freed of all that shit.
And that's what you're talking about is literally like it really is the Christian faith. I think a lot of people are resistant to it because they think, hey, I've sinned too much. Like, I've done too many wrong things.
Fuck, dude, it's going to be great.
What I've done in my life is too much. And that's what the gift of Jesus dying on the cross that is what he has done. And that's what frees us from all of those sinful, guilt, shameful feelings. Is Jesus was perfect but died on the cross to cover every single one of those sins for you. And if you just believe in him, that death on the cross washes all of those sins away. And that through that grace and through that wonderful mercy is what should motivate and push us to go and sin no more. It's not that we have to work our way to heaven. We are not saved by works. We are saved by the faith in Jesus. And that's what gives us that freedom and that feeling of, I love the way that you just described it. You were like, my girlfriend caught me and I was relieved.
I felt bad for her because now the burden was hers. She was all fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, it's in a weird way. I think that's similar to faith. I think it's like, we can feel relieved and be just awestruck and ever grateful, and just push us towards worshiping and following Jesus, because he didn't have to take those sins away from us, but he did in his grace. So I think we're just talking about the same. I think we're talking about the same kind of thing, just in different ways. So I think.
Are you good at forgiving people? I'm great at forgiving people. I don't even hold grudges. I believe in like full personal accountability. Like, I'm not a fucking a master at it, but like, I'm totally aware that, like, you know, rock hits some kid throws a baseball and hits my car and puts a dent in it, and I'm fucking pissed at the kid. But when I go home and reflect on it, I'm like, you bought the car, you drove it down that street. Like, dude, you're complicit. Like, you made all these decisions that made this possible. Why the fuck am I giving the power to that kid?
Yeah, I think it's
and then I don't even have to forgive him. I'm just like, dude, it's me.
Yeah. Well, I think you've been blessed with just the ability to forgive in those situations. I mean,
or just not be retarded.
I would say that I am, through my faith, through growing in faith, I think I've gotten better at letting things go. Absolutely. I think that's a huge part of being like a true Christian, is not being quick to anger, not being holding grudges. Love doesn't hold, like, true love, biblical love does not keep a record of wrongs. It does not keep grudges, things like that. And but it can definitely be hard when you're talking about, you know, what you just said, someone that you
hurts
love,
your kid, your wife cheats on you, shit like that'll fucking hurt. That'll hurt.
Exactly. For sure. So I wouldn't say that I'm great at it, but it's just something that I'm trying to get better at every day, because that's what the process of sanctification is. You're trying to get better and more like Jesus, following him every day. So trying to.
How old are your kids?
Riley is almost 3. She'll be 3 next month. And Jordan, my youngest, just turned like 8 months.
I know you didn't ask for any advice, but I think that this will work for you. You'll like this. When you pick things for your kids, like whatever sports to play, don't pick them on the sports. Pick them on the person, based on the person that you want your kid to be around. It doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if it
You
ends
mean
up
like
being
the
that the
coaches?
fucking like
Yeah.
if you're like, fuck, this basket weaving coach is the greatest human being I've ever seen, and they teach basket weaving to kids.
Yeah.
Fuck football. Put your kid in basket weaving. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, which brings me to something you said about Tom Ryan. You said you went to Tom Ryan during struggles. Is that weird to go to your wrestling coach? Like, what made you think that you could go to him?
I think it's just the trust that he built through the the grind of a wrestling season. I think when you're around each other all the time. I mean, you have similar to like training for the games. I mean, a wrestling season is you got 90 minutes to 2 hours of technique work in the morning, usually with a little bit of strength and conditioning mixed in there as well. And then you're doing hard drilling and live wrestling for like 2 hours in the afternoon. So you just learn, I mean, you become close with your coaches and your teammates. And so you just get to a point where that's on you as the athlete to be kind of vulnerable and a mindset of like, hey, I want to talk about these things to grow. I'm dealing with these struggles in my life. And and if they're good coaches, they'll ask you, they'll say, hey, what are you going through? Like, hey, how can we help you? How can we enable you to be better? And he was great at that. And just straight up, I would go to him. I remember it was like going into my sophomore year, I kind of got injured my freshman year. So like my sophomore year, I was coming back and I still was just getting my butt kicked every day. And I was like, hey, why am I not winning? Like, what's going on? Like, why am I doing all the right things, quote unquote, but it's just not translating on the scoreboard?
Like,
And
were you thinking about quitting even?
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought about it a lot. Like we even had like, it's not uncommon because wrestling, you have like 35 to 40 guys in the team for like 10 spots. So you got 10 weight classes, and usually there's 3 or 4 guys fighting for that starting spot. Most spots, like they know who the starter is. It's either a returning All-American, it's a huge recruit who just dominates everybody. Sometimes there'll be weight classes where there's a toss-up where no one's the clear starter, so they're kind of battling for a starting spot. And so if you're one of those guys that just is a walk-on or like a preferred walk-on, not a big recruit, somehow made the team kind of like I was probably one of the last people to actually be recruited on the team because they just had last little open spots. So they were going to fill it with people like me who had like a 4.1 GPA, because then they would just bring the average GPA of the team up because that's
shit, they were using you. That must have felt good. I
Yeah,
love
for
being
sure.
used. That's good.
I mean, that's what I mean. Yeah, I could definitely, if you want, like, if you could absolutely frame it that way. Like
You were the toughest guy with a 4.0.
I was a tough kid that had a 4.1 GPA. Absolutely.
Did you have the best grades on the wrestling team?
No, probably not the best. There were still some brainiacs in there. Some even like really good wrestlers, they still had good GPAs too. But in college, it's weird because having a 4.0 in communications is different than having a 3.8 in mechanical engineering. So like you'll have variances like that. So, but I was just like, I was asking him, I was like, hey, why am I not winning? What's going on? And
like with tears in your eyes, asking, like
almost
like broken down. Like you didn't want to ask that, but it'd come to that.
For sure. It was just like, do I belong on this team? Like, why am I not competing? Like, blah, blah, blah. And it was just, some of it was technique stuff. Some of it was, hey, you're just not doing enough. You're literally not working hard enough. Like, you think you are at, this isn't verbatim what he told me, but it was basically like, you think you're at 99%, but you're not even close. Like, you just don't know what it takes, and you haven't yet put yourself in the position to work hard enough, either strength and conditioning wise, taking enough risks in the match. That was kind of more my issue. Same thing we were just talking about before, wrestling to not lose, protecting. I had an issue with just going out there and just pulling the trigger, trying to score as many points as possible. I don't think that's what I think he was mainly talking about when he was like, you're not doing enough. You're not taking enough risks. You're not pushing it to the whistle every single go, and just things like that, where I thought, I was like, bro, what are you talking about? I'm giving every single thing that I have. And it was just sometimes you just get told what you don't want to hear. It's not like and that's what good coaches do. They don't just tell you what you want to hear. So it was a mixture of that. It was like and we definitely had faith. I mean, we had faith conversations too. We had all of it. I mean, you spend so much time together. It was like a lot of those conversations of how do I get better in life? How do I get better in wrestling? I'm struggling with this. How'd you struggle with this when you were in this position? Just stuff like that for sure.
Did he have other kids?
He does have. He has so Teague was his youngest, and then up from there, he had a daughter and then 2 older sons as well. So
So he had 4.
he had 4. Yeah.
I don't mean to sound callous, but that's got to make it easier than if you just had 1.
Yeah, if it was your only child, I can imagine it would hit different for sure. No doubt.
And because the thing with me is I remember thinking, I couldn't ever imagine my parents dying, and when I had kids, for some reason that thought went away. Not that I want them to die, but like,
yeah,
I felt like I would be alone in the. I guess I don't know if it's exactly this clean, but I thought I would be alone in the world if my parents died. But once I had kids, for some reason that went away.
Yeah, changed your perspective for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the missing part. I wouldn't think that if I had God in my life.
Yeah, I don't think that's true at all. I think we have thoughts that maybe aren't like that everybody deals with. I mean, that's what, like, you deal with thoughts that aren't of of God's nature. I mean, I think that we all deal with the sinful, like, I'm not saying that that's a sinful thought, but I mean, we deal with stuff that in an imperfect fallen world, that's just where we live in right now. That's what we have to deal with. And that's having a relationship with God. That's what you can do. You can turn to him and your brothers in Christ, and you can talk about those things like, hey, how do you deal with this? Why am I thinking this way? What would you do in this situation? I think that's just part of the journey of life. And so I 100%, like, I'll say that I deal with thoughts like similar in that, where I think about something and then I'm like, why am I thinking that? Because that's not what I should be thinking about. So it's a learned process of how to deal with that.
How many kids are you going to have?
We're not. We don't know for sure, but we're of the headspace now that we're not ready to say that we're done. So probably at least 1 more.
Oh, so you're loving it?
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it more than my wife, who's I don't say I love it more than my wife. I love it because my wife is amazing.
Yeah.
And just she's a stay-at-home mom that just crushes it. I mean, like, I always say the term, like, she's in the trenches every day with them because they are a handful. But some days are obviously harder than others. I mean, even though my wife gets up almost every single time at night when one of them or both of them is up screaming in the middle of the night, some days are harder than others. But like I said before, it's just nothing will like fulfill you like emotionally, and just
and you have daughters too. I heard that's different. I heard that's really intense as a man.
Yeah, I'm still dealing with how to just like raise them right. I love being a girl dad. I never really thought that they would, but like both of my first 2 children would be daughters. I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm for sure committed to, like, immensely, I know I'm going to have a boy or anything like that. But it just, I never really thought about it either way very much, just what they were going to be. So but just now it's like, you can't imagine any other way. So I love everything about it. I love having the relationship I have with them. And I'm looking forward to just giving them as much of myself as I can, without losing myself and my own goals, my own life, which I think is important. But I think, I love everything about it.
Hey, Jack, I probably have you miscategorized. When I think of you as an athlete, and I've never achieved anything close to what you've achieved, but when I think of you as a CrossFit Games athlete, I think of you as doing it as a bucket list, like it's a moonshot. Like, you're like, fuck, you're jumping over the Grand Canyon. I have 1 shot at this. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna check it off my list. That's my, like, that's the story I tell you. But I'm open also, like, once now you taste this, now you're gonna go to Texas and you're gonna taste something
For sure.
And I'm wondering if it's gonna change your trajectory. Do I have you miscategorized?
Yeah, I would say that it's a slight mischaracterization of, like, this is my one and done shot. I think if that's what kind of saying?
Yeah, like basically like, hey, you have a full life and like, you know, you're married, you have a successful marriage, you're a fucking attorney, you're in the military, you have 2 kids, you just have so many things going on, and you're one of those guys that's like, fuck it, I'm also going to compete to be the fittest man in the world, and I'm going to go touch the field of play where God expresses human DNA at its highest level. And then I'm going to move on to the next thing. But I also think that maybe you're going to taste it and it's going to like be like, you're going to like, oh, maybe I need to come back for one more lick.
I think the latter part of what you're saying is more true. I don't intend on going there and just like, I'm going there to smell the roses and just enjoy the experience and say I'm a CrossFit Games athlete for the rest of my life.
No, I agree with that too. You're a little unique in that. I know you want to win. I've heard you, but have you seen beyond this CrossFit Games? Like, well, I know you've said you wanted to go to Rogue, but even when you say you want to go to Rogue, I feel like I'm hearing you want the full experience, but like, do you have 2025? Do you plan on going to the games again after this?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I would ask you that a year ago, if I would have said, hey, if you make it once, do you think you'll try again? Would you have said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for fucking up my story about you. Now
I'm just being honest.
No, I love it. And I'm glad I'm wrong. Because you're a great character and asset to the story of what it means to be a CrossFit athlete. Is there anything that you are looking at that you're going to have to take out of your life? Like, all right, I'm going to have to sell one of my cars. Motorcycle's gone. No more
I do have
going around with magic at night.
You have a boat? I do have a motorcycle.
You getting rid of that?
That I probably will. That I actually am trying to sell sometime this year. Just like, yeah, because it does get to a point where, and I kept conversations with my wife about this all the time. It's just something that I've always kind of been internally like burdened with, that I try to do too much, that I think I can do everything. Like, hey, why can't I keep this job? And kind of work on like these side hustles, like, and do these training and be a great father, and stuff like that. So I think it's just taking it a year at a time. So reevaluating, like, hey, after this CrossFit Games, this season is done, like we will reevaluate as a family. And I will honestly ask my wife, like, are you happy? Are you satisfied with where we live, with how much I'm home, with, just our lifestyle, with our relationship with our kids, with our church family, just like stuff like that. And if the answer is no, we'll have a conversation and then something will have to change. So I think that's what we've done so far. And it's like, we know, and I know that it's not forever, that I'm going to compete in the CrossFit Games. But I think, all of the older guys that are, I say older, like just the more seasoned guys, they're 33, 34 years old and still crushing it. So I think that there's no reason that I can't do that as well. As long as, again, as we periodically kind of assess our lives and say, hey, are we happy and satisfied with where we're at? Then we'll just keep chasing what we're doing. So that's just the kind of the way that I look at it, as long as one area of my life is not significantly suffering, and I feel like I'm still doing a fairly good job of upholding my values and my roles as a husband and father, then I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. So I think it's just looking at it periodically. I'll attack the games as much as I can this year, and see where it goes from there. I'm definitely just not ruling anything out right now. So
if I was in your position, well, even in my life, anything that I'm doing that I'm enjoying, obviously it's not like, if it's not like drugs, anything I'm doing in my life that I'm enjoying, I want my wife to push away all of her issues around it. I don't want to hear shit. Do you know what I mean? Now I'm not working out as much as you, but like when I work out, I want my wife to completely fucking hold the house down, and I don't want anyone I don't want to hear kids fighting, like, or I don't want her to say like, I wouldn't want to hear. So like, when my wife goes to work, I'll flip the script. No matter what, I would never express anything for her to be concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I was dying to, I would push that shit down. Like, or like she'll text me now in a few minutes and she'll be like, hey, do you care if I go to a Pilates class? Like, I won't even yes. It's just yes. Go.
Yeah.
Like, just go. Like, I've got everything under control. I want you to be happy. Even if for some reason, like, I wanted to do something, I wouldn't even tell her if I had a fucking dentist appointment. I'd just call and change it. Like, I just want her, and she treats me the same.
Yep.
As a CrossFit, and that's just in day-to-day life. That's an exaggeration. If I had a dentist appointment, I would tell her. But as a CrossFit Games athlete, like, as the spouse to a professional athlete, don't they have to like completely hold all their ego away?
I don't think they have to completely. I think, like, exactly what you just said, we have a good dialogue of like
What if she was like, "Hey Jack, I don't want you fucking walking around in your little banana hammocks after the swim, getting in the ice bath because girls are gonna see you." Would you be like, "Hey motherfucker, push that shit down. Like, I don't want to hear, like, what do you, don't bring your shit to me. I got an ice bath and like I don't have time to fucking put on a burqa."
We have that understanding though. Like we figured that out before we got married.
Oh,
like you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
so we had all
okay.
the conversations.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Like those kind of conversations, we know generally how each other feels about certain things like that. And if
there's couples like that, like the chick or the dude, the spouse is like jealous or projecting shit. It's like, dude, no one's fucking here. Like, we're exhausted and getting in the ice bath. Like, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's just, you talked about, that's the importance of picking a good partner and just having those conversations before you get married, before you're in a serious relationship. And so I think that, one, we have figured out a lot of that stuff and it's squared away. And two, even if it's not, obviously stuff comes up. I make a ton of mistakes. Like, she'll call me out on it. Like, I'll call her out on it, and then we'll adjust.
Are you good at that? Are you good at getting called out at? Yeah, me too. I'm a champ at it.
That's what I tell her.
What do you do? I just own it right away. That's my default. I did it.
No, I'm like Stanley from The Office. I won't say sorry unless I think I'm wrong. No, I'm just kidding. So like, it's just, I don't mind. Yeah. Cause I want to be the best partner I can. So it's like, I tell her that, and she's gotten better at that as well. Cause I think earlier in my career, I think like she would kind of be nervous about maybe calling me out on some stuff, because she would think that I'd get like super irritated, and then that would create distance between us or something. But I think we just have such a strong foundation now that we can be completely open and transparent with each other.
Or disturb your performance, right?
Yeah, that too. And that, honestly, she's just so amazing about, like, she wants the best for me. And she's
you're stoked. That's what I wanted to hear
so many times. And so just like this weekend, so I'm actually in Cookeville this weekend. I live in Kentucky, like 2.5 hours from Cookeville. That's why we did the run. I'm here with the Mayhem group. We just did the run swim mock this morning. And so, luckily her brother is visiting, so she's not going to be alone all weekend with the girls. But nice. Like, even just situations like that. So I've now gone to Cookeville like 2 weekends in a row, even though I don't live in Cookeville. And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't want, we just had conversations about different circumstances about me going or not going. And she's just said, like, yeah, I wouldn't want you to miss out on, I know, the training that you feel you need to do. And so just things like that. It's like, she's an amazing partner that I don't deserve. So, yeah.
Well, congrats.
Yeah. Thanks.
Do you have to pee?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah. A couple more minutes is good. Yeah.
So, when you die, you go to heaven.
If you believed in Jesus and accepted him as your savior and made him the Lord of your life and follow him, then yes.
But where were you before? Were you there before you were born too? Like, you were in heaven before you were born? Or you?
So that's a complicated thing that I do believe in. I believe in predestination because it's preached in the Bible. A lot is taught in the Bible. And so I think that there is this doctrine of election and predestination, that God, as an omniscient, all-powerful, intelligent creator, knows who is and who is not going to be saved. I mean, I think that's just a second tier issue for us Christians. I think that can get down into the weeds of really.
But what about before you were in your mom's stomach? Or is it a mischaracterization to even say you? Is it just a false question, you think?
No, I think that's between. I think that we don't know that. I think that's between the child and God. So, like, say, for people that have miscarriages, for kids who die tragically before they're even 5 years old, I think that's between that child and God, and we don't know. So, but I think that if you I think those who profess their faith in Jesus and make him the Lord of their life are the elect that the Bible preaches about. So, yeah.
I suspect if you ask questions like, where were you before you were born, that maybe the question is so far off base because there wasn't a you. Like, just the question in itself has like some sort of implication that's not relevant to existence before birth.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I don't think that there was a you except for in the mind and in the creative power of God. Before you were conceived by your parents. I think God knew that was going to happen, and that is his plan and will for your life. But as far as like, I don't know. I don't know how else to answer that other than that. So
why were you named Jack?
My grandpa's middle name was Jack, so his name was Earl Jack. My mom's dad. Is
he still alive?
No, both my mom's parents passed away basically like in the last year. They were in their 90s. So they definitely lived a full life. And so yeah, that was like my grandma passed away May of last year. I think my grandpa passed away like late November, early December.
Oh, so you got to see your parents go through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Was that an interesting experience? Is that what you do? Is that what you do when your grandparents pass away? You kind of like watch your parents to see. I mean,
I definitely did. Like, yeah, we had conversations about it. It was my grandma, my mom's mom, had pancreatic cancer for like years, even in her late 80s, which usually I think it was one of those where they were like,
yeah, that's a bad one.
You have stage 3 or stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Like, you're not going to make it 6 months. And she lived like 3 years, like 2.5, 3 years or something like that. So, hers, and then especially when she was in hospice, it kind of dragged on. Like, and so I saw my mom kind of go through that roller coaster of emotions of like, I don't want to lose my mom, but I don't want to watch her suffer for too much longer, like stuff like that. So, and I think that same thing, like once my grandma passed away, it was very difficult on my grandpa. And so same thing, like my mom didn't want to see him go, but also, you know, could see that the time was soon and just didn't want it to drag on like it dragged on with my grandma. So, yeah, I saw them deal with that. And my dad's dad passed away a couple years ago. My dad's mom is still alive, but so I've been able to watch them, I guess, both deal with that.
Did Tom Ryan stay married after his kid? He lost his child?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's impressive. I think that one can rock the house.
For sure. Yeah.
There's probably I don't know what the stat is, but there's probably some crazy stat on that. If you lose a child, the fucking marriage goes to shit.
Yeah, probably. For sure. Yeah. I can't think of much worse than that.
Are your parents still married?
Yep.
Oh, you're stoked.
Like 30. When did they get married? 86. So I think, well, no. Yeah, I don't know. Like over 25 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dude, good talking to you about all CrossFit. That was a lot of CrossFit talk.
Hey, that's fine, dude. Like CrossFit's CrossFit. We can watch it and talk about it anytime. But I was excited to have a more personal conversation with you. Been hearing you talk about me a little bit here and there, so I was just curious how much of a jerk you were going to be to me in person. So it's fine.
Oh, good. I remember. I can't stand you in Austin Hatfield fucking up my Colton Love at Crash Crucibles. Like, who are these fucking guys?
I think that was I think that's why. I don't even remember why. I just like, as I was just saying that, I was like, why am I saying that he's going to be a jerk? But I think it was just like the fact that we have heard on your Colton Love a little bit is like,
oh,
I think
fuck,
that's why.
Man,
yeah.
Fucking A. Fucking A. You're in the way of my guy. Hey, I have before you go, I do want to play one clip. And I want you to walk me through this. We'll play it once and watch it together, and then I want you to walk me through this.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. This is from this year's semifinals.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And what event is this, Jack?
This is the snatch ladder. This is event 5.
5. Okay. So there's only one left after this.
Correct.
And you're basically in a 3 or 4 way tie for 9th, 10th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th place. Okay, here we go.
Yep. To get this final lift, 10th place, 262 points, only 9 points clear of Luke Parker. This is a huge lift for Jack Rozema.
I
Rozema, and he will get the event win.
What an impressive outing by Mr. Jack Rozema.
Okay.
Rozema has a
Crazy. Like, do you think you're going to get that? Tell me as you walk up here, are you getting it?
Yeah, like I knew just from testing how good like the workout felt and like what my time was going to be. I think I hit it like 5 because we had plenty of time to test these. So I think I had like 5:20, 5:25 in testing. And so I just kind of knew I was right on the pace. And I remembered that Colton's time was like 5:07 or something, which at the time was the world record. I was just dumb and not remembering that Guy was also going the same weekend and knowing that he was going to crush it. So I was like, I should have been smarter and been like, this isn't even going to be a world record, even if I beat Colton. But so I saw.
But you went for it. You went into that workout being like, I can set the world record.
Yeah, for sure.
You're a bad dude.
That's what I wanted to do. And so I knew that I was like, I want to go right at 5 minutes or like slightly sub 5. And so I was not quite able to do that. But I remembered I was like, all right, I'm at like right now, 5 minutes. I feel good enough to pick up the bar. And just like through lifting and over the years, I've grown confidence in the snatch of just being able to kind of send it into the bottom and just trust that it's going to be there. So that's basically what I did. And so
here that you're still going to get it.
So I did like catching it. And as soon as I felt it start to go forward, I kind of was like, oh no, I knew that I could. And then but as soon as I started to come up with it, I was like, oh yeah, I can save it. The only issue is could I save it and stay in the box? Because you couldn't step over that red line. And so if you like play it, my foot is probably like an inch from that red line. Like I couldn't tell when I was doing it where my foot actually was. I was like, oh crap, I definitely stepped over the line. I'm gonna have to do it again. But if you watch it, it's like super close, but I don't quite step on it. And
it's okay. What's 1 foot over the line? This is the CrossFit Games. Hey,
dude, play it. You can see.
But look at this, dude. Look how forward you are, and your heels still don't come off the ground. That's what I was tripping on. You stay flat-footed the whole. If your heel would have come off the ground, you'd have been fucked.
Yeah, for sure. Like look. Oh
yeah, that's close.
Yeah. So I thought I stepped on it, but he said I was good, so I stepped over, and so that was it was fun. And the announcer, like if you listen to the audio of that, I could hear him. He was like already saying, like, let's hear it for Jack Rozema, like before I even was starting to come back up. So I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I can't I was like, I gotta get it up because he's already saying my name. So I didn't want to because he would have had to say, oh, never mind, he missed it. So I didn't want to do that. But obviously I just wanted to hang on to it in general. So yeah, I knew that I was like, this is my home run. That's what you got to do at semis and probably as just talking to people at the games too. Like when you see an event where you have a good chance at hitting a home run, you just got to go for it. And that's what I tried to do there.
And that goes back to where we started the conversation, right? Like, hey, if you can attack, don't defend, attack.
Exactly. For sure.
So that was the risk you took and it got you to the games. Like if you would have dropped that, is there a chance you wouldn't have gone to the games?
No.
Okay.
No, that was because I still would have, even if let's say that next rep took me a full minute, I probably still would have gotten a top 10 in that event. And then I did well enough in the last event to where I don't remember how many points, but I was only 20 points out of 4th place. I took 6. So for me to drop back down to 12th, I would have been fine.
Oh, hold on. I think one person wants to say something to you.
Who's that?
I think this is one of those Jersey guys. Hold on, let me see if I can. Do you know those Jersey guys? The two guys, I think they were wrestlers.
Jersey guys?
They've been on Kill Taylor before. Call her hi.
Oh no.
Hey, hi.
Hey.
Hey, no. This is I'm from Michigan. This is the
meat guy.
The meat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you want to say something to Jack?
Well, yeah, I see the Detroit Lions shirt on. So is he from Michigan or I'm coming in late, so I'm sorry if this was covered.
No, I'm from Grand Rapids, so west side of Michigan.
Oh, yeah, that's still Michigan. So
yeah.
Did you do the comp?
Which one?
The one that was just a couple weeks ago.
The
was there.
the Fresh Coast games that was in Muskegon on the lake. I didn't do
Yeah.
that this year because
Yeah.
of games training. I did that last year with a couple friends, but that is a cool one to do on Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna let Jack go, but I'll still talk to you if you want to stay on for a second.
Me or Jack?
No, you. I'm getting done with Jack. I've been with him 94 minutes.
I know. I'm coming in late. So do you ever get down? Well, do you get down to the Detroit area, Jack?
Not too often. Just whenever I'm going to like a sports game or a concert or something. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Jack. Thank you, buddy.
Cool.
You the man. I'll see you in a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, dude.
Hey, no problem, man. Looking forward to it too. I'll talk to you later.
Yep. Thank
Cool.
you. Bye-bye. Jack Rozema. Wow, it's too bad you came in late. You missed a great one.
I know. They're all great.
What an honest man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I catch myself being like defensive, like I want to like vet their wives and their girlfriends for them. I catch myself like being like, God, I hope he got a good chick, because he's so fucking.
Well,
cool.
you're being a good father. You're being a good father.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Well, I mean, you got great kids. You're doing a great job with your boys.
Thank you.
Yeah, I always enjoy them.
Did you see Avis at the do those 3 minutes and 52 seconds of burpees?
I haven't gotten it. Like, I've been so busy at work. I'm so behind on all your.
I know I haven't heard from you in a while.
I know. Just been crazy busy.
When you call, I'm gonna pretend like it's God calling me.
Why? Why?
I don't know. It just makes it more fun.
Okay.
Are you in Michigan?
I am.
How's the meat diet going?
North. Perfect. Love it.
You're still holding steady.
Yeah, no, I've been doing it for years. I'm not going back.
God, I hope someday I get to your level.
You're 10 years younger than me.
So I have some time.
Or it's time to get started.
Right. I like that. That's even better. Maybe you calling me today will re-inspire me to get on the and I kind of want to tighten up a little bit before the games, because I'm going to be in person with a lot of people. So I kind of I want to put my best foot forward. You know what I mean? Have my skin look nice, not so the bottom of my shirt hangs on one of my jelly rolls. It'd be nice if I my shit fit nice. I like it when people are like, "Oh, he looks better than I thought he would." Like, that would be great. Little feedback from my cohort.
Yeah, no, you need to, like, all those drinks you guys are doing, like, you make my skin crawl. Like,
I don't think I've had a drink in a month now. I don't think I've had a drink in a month.
No. All the, like, I don't want to.
Oh, the Fit Aids. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, how about this? Since I started drinking Fit Aid, I haven't had a single energy drink.
Yeah, I don't know the ingredients of it, but I mean, just water.
Just water. That's fair. What about coffee?
A little bit.
But you don't drink coffee?
Black. Just a little.
Yeah.
Here and there.
You sound like, do you know this word equanimity? Equanimous?
No.
Let me look it up before I say something stupid.
Okay.
Equanimity. Mental calmness, composure, and evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. Your voice exudes equanimity.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, but
or you're a fucking psychopath. Or you're a fucking psychopath. One of the two.
Equanimity.
Maybe.
Equanimity.
Okay, go ahead. What about Andrew?
Well, I saw his podcast with Richard Gerard or whatever. And
the video made, the expose he made on Ricky and Alex.
Great. Both of those athletes are great, but holy cow. How much sugar can they drop into their body every day? They're killing me.
Oh, do you think it's unnecessary?
I know it's unnecessary.
But I mean, Alex Gazan is like, she has to do so much with her body.
They would be over the top, bigger, fitter. if they just cut out the sugar.
Maybe she could try it in the off season. Do you think that maybe,
Yeah,
like
you
maybe
can't-
she shouldn't meddle with it right now?
No. Don't change a thing now. It's too late. Because when you do it, to get your body to run on fat, there will be diminished performance for maybe up to 4 to 6 months until your body says, oh, I can use fat for energy and not sugar all the time. So there is a dip.
I love Alex Kazan, like her dirt twirler look.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, she's fucking. She's wonderful.
Great personality, great hair.
She probably would plant. She'd probably plant trees in the garden.
Right.
I don't know. I just make shit up about people so I like them even more.
But yeah, you're doing great. Your kids are doing great. You got great boys. You got a great. You're probably one of the best fathers that I ever know.
Well, thank
ever
you.
knew.
I have similar beliefs about myself also.
Well, you should.
No shortage of fucking self-belief and confidence here.
Yeah, Richard's looking good too.
God, fucking Ricky Garrard is nuts, dude. He's nuts. I'm gonna have that other dude on, Bob. I'm gonna have this other dude on too, Enola Kai. He's been on before, and I really liked him. He's coming on in a few days.
Yeah. You do great.
How's the gym? Have you
You
been
do
going to the
great.
gym a lot?
Every day.
What CrossFit gym are you going to? Are you going to an affiliate? I can't remember.
Yeah, so I think they de-affiliated, but
it's still a gym. It's still like they do classes and shit. And you go in there, and, like, and you know people, and they say hi to you. And
yeah.
Hey, have you ever converted anyone to just like to where all they do is eat meat?
Great question.
You probably got a lot of people
No.
started. You're probably in the hundreds, if not thousands, of people started by talking about it. What's crazy too? Yeah. So let me ask you this. What's the threshold? I was talking to Hiller yesterday about just eating meat again. And he was like, yeah, he said, you have to make it a week, and then the cravings for all the other shit go away. Is that what you just said too?
And but don't do fruit. Like I disagree with Hiller and team about, I think JR does it too. Fruit. He does meat and fruit.
Yeah.
Like it's just sugar, man. It's just sugar. It's sugar. I mean, you guys learn from the best man, like Greg. You know what you need to do.
You're right. You are right. All right.
I mean, yeah. So, hey, I wish you the best.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Always good to hear your voice.
You guys are always doing great. Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Do you guys know this? You guys know this is what's his name? Droopy? Do you guys know Droopy? Do you guys know this guy right here? Droopy.
Hello, all you happy people.
Doesn't Bob kind of remind you of this dude just a smidge?
Hello, all you happy people.
Okay, more than a smidge. Oh my goodness. When that dude calls, I feel like my heart could stop moving, like stop beating. He's so paced, so measured. Oh. You guys seen this video going around, this compilation of whether Kamala is actually the border czar or not? What did this person just send me? Let me see. I haven't watched this yet. Someone just sent this to me. Let me.
Heritage Foundation tweeted this oversight project thing that says assassination info drop. And
so
like,
it says 4 hours of congressional testimony later, and we still have more information about the assassination attempt on former President Trump from X and Oversight PR than the Secret Service, DHS, or the FBI. We found the assassin's connections through our in-depth analysis of mobile ad data tracker to track the movements of Crooks and his associates.
What?
To do this, we tracked devices that regularly visited both Crook's home and place of work and followed them. So think about what they're saying here, though. Analysis of mobile ad data.
Yeah.
So the ads are tracking you every step of the way, wherever you are.
Heritage Foundation tweeted this oversight.
Yeah, I saw this. This is basically they're showing that people who've been to his house have also been to DC. I hope someone looks into it. I so don't want to draw conclusions anymore. Every time I dabble in it, like it's just there's so many idiots that draw conclusions. Someone sent me to an Instagram account the other day where people were talking about how brilliant Kamala is and that she's going to mop the floor with Trump in the debate and all this shit. And I'm just like, wow. Imagine thinking, and that they said that Joe Biden is a Jedi master. I mean, you can't make this shit up, the stuff I was reading. We also just live with just complete fucking nincompoops. I've had people on this show. I think Philip Kelly and this guy Paul, who both got COVID really bad and were hospitalized. But I had to search them out, and I know a bunch of people in the comments are going to be like, "Well, I know someone who died. I know someone who died. I know someone who died." But like, I don't know anyone who died of COVID. Not one fucking person. Not one. Me personally. And I don't know anyone personally besides through this show where I dig out where anyone was hospitalized. Not fucking one. And yet, I know 3 people who've died of fentanyl. And I know a dozen people who've got myocarditis from the vaccine. Now, I don't know. I mean, just my own. Why would I believe? Like, I just trust my own discernment. I don't know anyone who died of COVID, but I know people who had heart attacks from the vaccine and who got sick from the vaccine. And what was the other thing I said? 3 people. What was the other thing? Who died of fentanyl overdose? It's like I just. Where's Caleb doing military shit? Judy Reed, PK is the only one I know, and it's from watching your show. Yeah, him and that guy Paul are the only 2 people. Like, those are the only 2 I know. But I know people in here, like, quote unquote, know people who died of COVID. Great question, Jonathan. Is it more about the company I keep than the COVID or the vaccine? It totally could be, but even if that is true, let's say it's hey, Sevon, it's because you hang around people who eat well and who are healthy. But I also surround myself with people who don't take the vaccine. And yet I know 12 people. I mean, yeah, it's for sure a factor, right? And where I live in complete, I mean, for those of you who don't live around libtards, like I live in like it's wild the shit I see every day. It's wild. You know what the greatest thing is? You know what I'll do? I'll be driving through town and I'll see a Trump sticker on a truck, like rarely, once a week or something, but more now. Or I saw this truck driving through town the other day with a "Let's Go Brandon," and I'll follow it just to watch other people's reactions. I mean, it is wild here. They're like any man, like the men you see in my town who are like over 20, you still see some fucking tough kids who are like under 25. You see some fucking pretty kind of burly dudes, but anyone over 25, complete fucking jelly roll, just weak. Unless you go right up to the ocean. If you get within a block of the ocean, you see a lot of fucking studly old dudes. Like I'll see 70-year-old dudes carrying a fucking surfboard down a flight of stairs and back like it's nothing. But just the regular run-of-the-mill douche canoes. And I probably live in one of the fittest towns in the country. Yeah. I don't know if it's the capital. See, the thing is Jonathan Ortega says you live in the capital of the libtards. The thing is, one interesting thing, Jonathan, about this area, because I'm in a forest that pushes right up against the Pacific Ocean, just outside, there's tons of fucking the wackadoodle conservative types. You know what I mean? And good ones too. But we have a lot of like homesteader types, like lots. Like this used to be a really conservative town on the outskirts of a big city. So we got a lot of country folk. You know what I mean? We have like a little pockets with meth and dirt roads and all that shit. Nick, so wouldn't it make sense that you don't know anyone who died because you live around libtards who got vaccinated if they were at high risk? Great question. My cohort did not get, like, I have a group around me and none of us got vaccinated. And most of us don't even have our kids have any vaccines. Like, no, our kids haven't been poked at all, most of us. And we see the ones that did. And by cohort, I mean my kids. I'm not talking about the people I go like to. Like all the kids at tennis are just the fucking normal run of the dime store kids. All the kids at jiu-jitsu. I mean, they're probably all still in the, top 5%. They're not the kind of parents who give their kids Mountain Dew for the most part. The skate park's just full of the regular the kids. And by regular mill, I mean, I'm talking about the kids who show up like to the skate park with like a box, like how I was brought up. You show up with way worse than how I was brought up. I mean, like the kids who come like with a box of Ritz crackers and a Capri Sun, and you know what I mean. And they don't look like they've showered. Just your normal fucking run of the mill kid. You're real. U.S. politics is wild. Other countries' government corruption is up front, while U.S. politics corruption is subtle. Although we're getting more upfront about it. I saw a journalist say the other day to someone, hey, it was in Milwaukee. He walked up to a guy and he said, hey, so-and-so said Trump or someone said Milwaukee's a shithole. Is it true? And the guy said, yeah, it's a complete shithole. Crime is high. This is high. This is high. And the reporter goes, how is that cool to say that if you live here? And the guy looks at him and he's like, how is it cool? It's the truth. Like, what do you mean? How is it cool? And for me, that's like a form of corruption. Like, you're not going to say somewhere's a shithole because it wouldn't be cool to say. Hey, how is it that you can't ride your scooter over the butt fucking flag in Portland, but you can burn the flag in DC? I don't understand that. They had the butt fucking flag painted on the ground in Portland, remember? The rainbow flag? And some kid rode a scooter across it and got in trouble as vandalism. But people are pulling down flags and burning them and no one's getting in trouble. It's fucking weird. That's a good type. That BFF, the BFF, butt fucking flag. Five's not too many. Five homeless people is not too many. Drug addicts is not too many. Anyway, I like Jack Rozema. He was cool. I liked him a lot. What did someone say in the comments the other day? New people to the show struggle with the show. What did they say? It's like when I used to make the behind the scenes and people are like, you're not a real sports journalist. You did this, this, and this. It's like, yeah, no shit. I'm not trying to be a real sports journalist. Oh, Canada's way worse. I suspect Canada's way worse. Because there's huge pockets of this country, huge. I think the majority of this country, like landmass speaking, has its shit together. It's just these fucking epicenters of complete retardation. And God, as soon as they get Trudeau out, it's going to be so interesting to see what happens to Canada. And they really have a hardcore socialist. Yeah, we're fucked. Yeah, the socialist thing is just a disease. Imagine thinking like socialists have to take something from someone else. They have to. That's the engine for socialism. Take, give, take, give, take, give. Capitalism is just give, bring, just bring shit to the market. Just bring. Like you can't play the capitalism game until someone brings something. Socialist game is just take. That's the catalyst for the explosion. Socialism is fucking disgusting. Of course, Jack is cool. He's a damn cool mill guy. Most mill dudes who are into actual CrossFit are cool. Yeah, he's cool as shit. Neighbor material adds value to the neighborhood. Like if Jack's there, like your neighborhood's cooler. Some of you probably don't remember Karl Malone. NBA great Karl Malone states he has finally made peace with the son he conceived at 22 with a 13-year-old girl. Weren't we just talking about this yesterday? How? I suspend judgment, but fucking A, dude. Fuck. And hey, here's the thing. This is the thing about, I always talk about steroids too. The lying is what sucks. And because it's illegal, people lie around it. And so the lying sucks. So he fucking lies. And I guess this is just I guess no system is perfect. He lies about having sex with her because he doesn't want to go to jail, because having sex with a 13-year-old is completely fucking disgusting. And he lies about it, but he lies about it because he doesn't want to go to jail. But then because he lies about it, he doesn't pay child support. Whereas if they would have let him be honest about it, he would have lost his NBA career and maybe gone to jail, but she would have gotten some child support. Yeah, I don't know. It's just fucked. What a mess. What a mess. I would like to hear that woman get interviewed, Gloria Bell. How does a 22-year-old superstar in the NBA end up fucking a 13-year-old girl? We talked about this yesterday in a recent video. A former employee from Mr. Beast says the YouTube star knew about his friend Chris talking to minors, but it's the tip of the iceberg, and Mr. Beast is done when everything gets exposed. Chris Tyson, now known as Ava Chris Tyson, has quit the YouTube channel following these allegations. Mr. Beast has the most popular YouTube channel in the world with an audience of mostly children. Yeah, you know what? I fucked up yesterday. I was like, well, Rolling Stone at least started the article right. You know what it is? It's a fucking, after digging a little more, it's a complete fucking disgusting cover up of fucking abusing children. And I think I'm just too tolerant. Like, fuck that guy for fucking having kids and then getting a sex change operation. Fuck him for texting with the 14-year-old. Like, why I would never like I told you the other day, I heard one of those girls on Kill Taylor. As soon as someone in the comments said she was 17, I hung up on her. Like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. If you're a fucking kid, get the fuck out of here. You should be fucking practicing your cursive or outside playing catch with your dad. Be watching the fucking internet, texting with the 14-year-old.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles.
Hold on, let me turn off the music. I'm outside Mr. Beast's studio right now. Here's a cornfield. I'll explain that tomorrow. I've just been driving by looking to see, is there an FBI raid going on? What's happening? My name's Dawson. I worked at Mr. Beast from February to May of this year, 2024. Chris is the tip of the iceberg. And when Jake the Viking says Mr. Beast knew, yeah, Mr. Beast knew. I heard many times that Ava Chris Tyson is a major liability, but they can't get rid of her because she's already threatened legal action and she knows too much. And when all this information comes out about everything that she knew, everything other people know, I promise you on everything Mr. Beast has done. Amazon, if you can get your money back, get your money back.
Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles.
Hold on, let me turn off the music.
Yeah, you don't apologize for shit you didn't do. You don't apologize for shit you didn't do. And does it surprise me that the number one guy in the kid space is surrounded by pedos? Not at all. Does it surprise you that Nickelodeon, the church, Disney, does it surprise you that there's not just fucking pedos everywhere there? Anywhere where there's fucking preschools, elementary schools. That's why it's being run by two young dudes with shitloads of money. Fuck that. Doodle Bob, doing it 85% of the time is hard. No way 100% for me would be doable. I think you're talking about eating meat. I tried to go 2 weeks, once failed 3 days in because I have to have farro, quinoa, or couscous. I was thinking about you the other day, Ken, because I have all these mint training cards on my desk now. I need to figure out what to do with them. And I was thinking, I can't even manage 40 cards, and you have like thousands of cards, right? Tens of thousands. Ariel Lowen. I hope I don't get attached to any of these. Christine Colenbrander. Seval Matosian. My ink on the back I can't even read what it says on the back. It's too small. Who's this? Hattie, can you? That one should actually live on my desk with Colton. Colton, Tyson, and Hattie. Hattie, can you? Maybe Dallin Peppers. See what I'm saying? Like, I don't have room for all these, but hey, am I supposed to give these away? Wad Zombie? These ones with me on them? Do I bring these to the games? Alex Guzan. God, I love Alex. Jason Hopper. Oh, Alexis Raptis. Is my Alexis Raptis fading? It better not be. I want my money back. I don't even keep this shit in the sun. Did I just fuck this card up by touching it with my finger? Shit. Danielle Brandon. I have 2 Alexis Raptises. God, I hope Alexis beats Danielle this year. Ben Smith. I'm glad we vetted Rozema. Now Rozema's like, he's in like Flynn. Now Jack Rozema guy. Oh shit! Look at this. Jeez, I have so many more. Oh my god. Oh, these are ones Patrick Clark gave me. I found these the other day. He gave me all these Tyson Bagent cards. If you want to learn more about Jack, you should go over to Keeping It Real and watch the podcast he did with him. Like, I didn't even like uncover Jack. Like, if you want to, oh, here's another Tyson Bagent. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have too many cards. I should just do a show on just how I play with cards. Oh, Emily Rolfe. She has a great body. It's a nice one to have. Yame Hagaya. Jeffrey Adler, another Tyson Bagent. You'd think I was into the NFL. Fuck, this is chaos. I got my Ariel Lowen one signed. I let Dylan eat dinner with me for a signed Ariel Lowen card. Yeah, Jack's legit. Jack's so legit. Remember how the other day I was talking about how like I think that like whatever you eat, like I think the major problem with why we have retards is what they eat. Like that we've retarded people by like that's why you're a tranny or you can't think critically. Like that food consumption plays a huge role.
Pottinger was a doctor studying tuberculosis back in the 30s, I believe, in California. He was using the adrenal glands of cats to see if he could find a cure for tuberculosis. And what he would do is he would take these adrenals out of the cats. And what was happening was the cats were staying alive, even after they had had their adrenal glands removed. So he thought it was very interesting. So he started kind of working further on the cats. Everybody in the community caught on to what he was doing, and they were bringing him all these wild cats. And at the time, he was feeding them a diet of cooked meat, raw milk, and cod liver oil. He ended up with so many cats that he had to turn to the local butcher to get scraps to feed the cats. And what he noticed is the cats that were fed the raw scraps were thriving. Not only were they thriving, but the survival rate for the adrenalectomies increased in the cats that were eating the raw scraps from the butcher. And so once he discovered what he discovered with these cats eating the raw meat, he started playing around with the diet even further, and he started giving the cats more processed foods like sweetened condensed milk. The cats that were fed sweetened condensed milk and the cooked foods, which was not a species-specific diet for the cats, they started developing disease. After 7 generations of feeding cats bad food, they stopped procreating. They couldn't have babies anymore. The females became aggressive and the males became docile. Isn't that interesting? What do we see happening?
7 generations of feeding them shit, and the males become docile, and the women become aggressive.
Right now, it's happening to us. We are eating a non-species specific diet. We are not meant to eat these selectively bred.
And a male that doesn't believe in himself is a danger to everyone. It's like basically like lives because somewhere inside of us we're at our calmest when we're at our most capable. We're least threatening when we're most capable. A man is most dangerous when he's the least capable.
Plants that used to be highly toxic that are now just halfway toxic and not eating our true food, which is meat. Dr. Pottinger was a doctor.
That chick looks like she fucks good. I'm just saying, on top of all the good information she gave. Sevi, do you still eat raw hamburger meat? No, but the other day I ate a steak that was damn near raw. Do I have an Eric Rosa card? No. Wad Zombie should make an Eric Rosa card. That's fucking brilliant. Wow. Wow. Maybe I'll eat maybe I'll eat a package of raw hamburger meat right now, just in honor of SpongeBob. Oh. Oh, that's cool. the kid who's like probably like the best 9-year-old skater in town. His mom just texted me and Haley and said, "You want Avi to? He wants to skate with Avi today." Shit, I'm going to do that. Take him over there. When do you get to the park? That's awesome. I always get flattered when that happens. Anyway, don't eat garbage. Turn you into a fucking pussy. I definitely don't eat too much processed shit. I don't think. I've been eating a lot of plums lately, and Haley says it makes the whole house smell like shit. Hi, babe.
Yes, it does. Hi.
Hold on. You're popping. Hold on. How can you hear me? How close are the boys to being done?
Wait, I lost you.
How close are the boys to being done?
Close. Ari's already gone. Avi's doing piano, and then they do Armenian.
Wait, who's
and your
already
mom
gone?
leaves. Ari.
He's not where'd
with
he
your
go?
mom.
Oh, done playing piano. Okay.
No, like, yeah,
Okay. And there's only one kid
I
left
think-
on piano?
and Armenian.
Okay, so I could probably leave at 9:30.
Maybe 9:40. Yeah.
I don't fart a lot. 9:40. I don't fart a lot like
9:45.
in general, just the last month. Like, do you believe me that it's just plums? Because I've been eating a lot of plums. I've been finding plums all over the yard and just been I find one and just wipe it off and eat it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very plausible.
I don't
'Cause
even.
it just-
I want you to
unless
know
it's
that
the
half the
allula-
time I don't even know. Oh, you think it might be the allulose from those RX sugar bars?
I don't know. How many do you eat a day?
I usually have one.
Maybe it's the combination. Oh, just one?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, but when I was
you
just
do it.
eating those before the plums got ripe, I wasn't farting.
That's true. Yeah, no, it's probably the plums. Well, let's see after plum season what it smells like in here.
What sucks is like I don't even know I fart. I've reached that age where anytime I just move, it just seeps out of my butt now.
Oh my god.
You know what I
That
mean? Like you'll
reminds
be
me of
like,
my
"Did you?"
grandma.
You're like, "Did you fart?" And I'm like, "I don't even know."
I think you're in denial.
All right. Maybe I just have poor self-awareness. Okay. Bye. What? You broke up. What? Hello? Hello? Testing.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I'll be in a minute.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Sevi, when's the CF Games fasting start? Should have started already. I fasted 2 days ago. I probably should do it again. I probably drop 5 pounds or 10 pounds at the games anyway because I just stopped eating and because I'm moving so much. There was something in here. Oh, what did Newsom do? Did someone said Newsom? Gruesome Newsom? Newsom blast school board. Gavin signs news. Oh yeah, this is just crazy. Look at if you type in Newsom, look at it. It's fucking crazy. So they have all of these. They have all these like laws and measures that like protect like non-white people. Like they'll be like, hey, we're not going to release security cam footage at the local subway of criminals doing criminal activity that we catch on the cameras because it leads to racism. But basically, what they're saying is. 90% of the crimes that the subway cameras capture are done by black people, and because of that, they don't want to release the footage because it'll build stereotypes about black people. Now, of course, it will build stereotypes about black people. That's just fucking. You can't stop that. But is that the reason not to release it? No, that's fucking insane. That's called racism. And all that does is make people start to fucking hate each other. Well, they do the same thing for gay people in California. Listen to this. Governor Newsom signs bill to protect sex offenders who have homosexual sex with minors. There was this is a couple years ago, but there was recently one that they just stopped. They stopped some sort of pedophile bill from passing through that would punish pedophiles. It just happened last week. And their reasoning is it would disproportionately affect trans people. Like, how aren't you just admitting at that point that trans people have a disproportional amount of pedophilia within their cohort? I mean, I just can't believe they say this shit out loud. I will wear, yeah, thank you. I got new shorts. Thank you, JJ. I appreciate that. That kind of stings, but I need a little honesty in my life. I got new shorts. Fasting is to performance what K-take is to fractured femurs. I don't know what K-take is, but yeah, my performance just suffers when I fast. Have you seen the video of the man being stamped on in at the Manchester airport? No. They are not Born Primitive shorts. I did get a bunch of Born Primitive shorts, and they're still like a little cargo-y and thick on me. It's a different brand. Thanks for asking and fucking things up for me. Appreciate it. I don't want to. I have found the best shorts and the best. I have these joggers that I'm in love with. I can't wait for winter to come so I can start wearing them again. Some of my guy friends tell me I look like I'm wearing pajamas, but I don't give a shit. My Vindicate shorts are nice. They're really short, but they are nice. Get the jorts. Oh, from Born Primitive. Oh, I should do that. That's a fucking great idea. I did actually like those. Born Primitive. Let me look at their my wife just got the Born Primitive jorts. If I was a girl, I would only rock American flag bathing suits. Let me see. Men bottoms shorts. These right here, you think I should get these? I have to be able to wear belt. I have these. I have to be able to wear a belt, or I have to be able to wear a belt, or else they probably just won't stay on. They'll fall off. Are these all the same? These stretchy ones? Stretchy Flex Gray, Stretchy Flex Light Wash. Oh, they are. Okay. And what color should I get? They have blue. Do I get 6-inch? Is that too short? Color wash. Geez, those are short. American flag shorts? Jesus. Are those stretchy? I don't think my cock would fit in there. Wow. That's some buttery bro shit right there. Right? Black? I think I have to do black. What size would I get? Size chart? Medium. God, medium might be too small. I don't know. All right. Thanks for shopping with me. The Saturday Kill Taylor. I spoke to Taylor. I don't know if the workout is set in place yet. Oh. The mom just texted me back. She'll be at the skate park at 9:45. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll. Oh wait, what's today? Is today Wednesday? No, today's Thursday. Let me see. I think Shut Up and Scribble is today, but I don't see it on the calendar. Isn't Shut Up and Scribble usually on Thursdays? Tomorrow morning, we have 2 guests. I think one of them is no, that guest canceled too. Tomorrow we just have Enola Kai. All right, bitchin'. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'll probably do a CrossFit Games update show. I'm sure there'll be more announcements if there hasn't been more announcements of the games. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.